Hey guys, welcome to Boogie Tech. This is my engine room / transmission room. I kind of say this is where the magic happens. I'm here with my good friend Wayne Sless. We're working on Yum Yum Eat 'em Up. This is our naturally aspirated 421, 23 degree engine.
Exactly.
This is the engine we've had a lot of problems with. We hope they're all solved. So just stay tuned. We're going to sit here and talk about it and tell about it. And I got a pretty good announcement for us over with. So what do you think, Wayne? After 18, all our oiling problems we had.
I think the oiling issues are finally solved. I mean, we had to pull a third party in. I've had my ass whipped plenty, and I can honestly say this is the first motor that's whipped my ass.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, it beat my ass.
Exactly.
I mean, it's literally just beat me through the ground. And it takes sometimes it takes a third party, or another set of eyes. And we'll go ahead and tell everybody we took it. And in my opinion, when it comes to a small block Chevrolet in the world, these guys are the people. And they don't really do drag engines. They're roundy round guys, but they're like the best roundy round guys. And it's Clemens Racing up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Listen, they know more about a small block Chevrolet than anybody. I mean, they're world renowned.
And it wasn't like you walked in there and said, "Hey, would you look at this?" And 2 minutes later, they said, "This is it."
No, they researched it.
They actually examined it.
I was so impressed. I mean, they went above and beyond.
Exactly.
They researched the manufacturer of the block. They researched everything. And I mean, that was more than helpful. I mean, I will suggest anybody go to them if you need help or need any kind of work done, machine work. Their shop is second to none. I've never seen. They are so far ahead of the curve on anything I've ever seen.
When you're running NASCAR stuff, you have to be on the bitter edge.
Or like them, they're not number one is dirt. I mean,
exactly.
If you're winning in the dirt world, it's got a Clemens engine in it. So, appreciate them. They didn't have to help me with this, but they did. We really appreciate them. And so I hope it works out good. I mean, it's hard to believe that. I mean, this thing makes more power than we've ever made in our lifetime.
That was the thing. I mean, we're making more and more power.
And it just, oh God.
Get it in the car, make a few passes.
It just makes you so, I mean, you get so frustrated when you go to the dyno and we make these records. I mean, to us, almost, like, oh my God. Yeah. You're making over 800 horsepower out of a 23 degree mode.
That's the thing.
And still 23 degree. Then we go to the track, get 3 or 4 passes down the track, 4 passes down the track, and then the bearings are burnt out and wiped out of it. I mean, it's so frustrating, but man, I'm excited because let me tell you what I've done.
You did what I think you did.
No, let me tell you what well, hopefully, you're probably going to be pissed at me, but it'll be all right, or you might not be pissed at me. You know me and my mouth. So let me tell you what I've done. All right, since Drag Week got canceled, but we got the 4-door, and don't get me wrong, the 4-door's for fun, and we're going.
That canceling, all that did was give us another year to get ready.
That's right. And I mean, we're still going to do stuff on it. Like I'm going to show people how we're building a trailer and stuff. And don't get me wrong, we're going to fuck up some people with that 4-door. Now, I don't care what nobody says. We're going to take it some Thursday night and Friday nights, and we're going to blow some tires off.
I'm telling you right now, we need to actually go to the grocery store.
And I'm going to mini-toe it a little bit, so we could put us a cheater slick under. I mean, the 4-door, I mean, that's just badass. But and the 4-door is going to take a couple, 2 or 3 months to get done, probably. In the meantime, I done did something and called out probably the #1 gasser in the country. This gasser, and I'm not even going to tell nobody who it is yet. It's the most recognizable gasser in the country. I've called him out to let's go have us a match race one Friday or Thursday night. We ain't even figured out where it's going to be yet. We're going to tell everybody when it's time. So we're going to dyno next week, me and you, with this thing, and God, we need it to do good, and then we got to go do some little track testing, because we're going to go to this thing with a howitzer. I
was fixing to say, we're going loaded for bear now.
When I run with the SEG, we had an exceptional car. I don't care what nobody says. The car to this day still works.
That's right.
So amazing. I mean, the damn thing's still 60 foot, just perfect. And we ain't even got to apply the power to it yet.
The power that we're
making now to it. So I personally think that we'll see some record numbers out of this car once we get it all tuned in. And I want to take it to his ass. I owe this guy. And next week I'm going to tell who it is. But I owe this guy a big. I owe him.
Does this fella have a very good looking wife?
Well, yeah, but that's
Okay. That's all I'm gonna say.
But there's two. But here's the other problem with this. All right, I owe him a big payback. He robbed me from a national championship. So we're not gonna say, but we're still not gonna call out who the name is.
I agree with you.
He robbed me from a national championship in my rookie year and never drag raced before. So that was not just an accomplishment of winning a national championship. It was an accomplishment because I remember when I started racing and I was nervous and I'd tell y'all guys and I'd say, am I doing all right? And I'm doing all right. And you go, Chris, you're doing, and y'all just don't know. Y'all would come to me and say, Chris, you're doing. I'd like, well, man, I only won first round. When I won my first round, which was my very first race, I won my first round. And I told y'all my goal was to every race go a progression farther. So the next race I won 2 rounds. The next race I won 3 rounds. Then you next know I'm in finals. And then I won my first race. And I'm built that way. I mean, you've been around me long enough to know if I focus my mind on something, I go 150%. And that's like this engine. This engine wasn't going to whoop us. It may break my bank account before we could figure it out. We're not going to let it whoop us because we own too much horsepower here and too much good of a thing.
I can relate it back to the transmission issues.
Yes.
And I've told you 1,000 times, if I ain't told you once, I'd have had that car parked, but that never stopped you.
No,
never.
And it probably should have, because break a transmission or race, then scrape the money up, learn to build the damn thing.
Exactly.
But now, I'll be honest with you, that was the best thing that could happen, because I build my own transmissions in-house. Now, granted, I run a G-Force now, and you know, you don't have the problems out of the G-Forces that you did the other ones, but we're designing a new slider that nobody knows about. I mean, they know now, but they don't know what it's about. And I redesigned the slider for a G-Force, and we're actually going to make this.
You're going to manufacture it.
We're going to make it in-house, and then we'll see how it does. And if somebody wants some, we may sell them to them, we may not, because that's a real deal. I designed my own slider. In fact, we build the first ones next week, and then send them to have them hardened. And since we bought them CNC milling machines, it's just, oh God, it's endless. Oh man, it's just like, and I'm so excited. I've been trying to learn on it too. This slider will pick you up 1/10 and a half. If you're running a G-Force 101A, I promise you, I would almost lay $100 bill that you'll pick up 1/10 and a half. Still using the clutch now. It's just the way this slider's designed that'll help you so much. Because the only problem I've had with the G-Forces, it takes a lot of ass to shift the G-Forces. And I'm really never like that. But this new slider, it'll be cool. And the guys at G-Force are super. I mean, you know, they are just badass. I'll tell anybody, if you're running a 4-speed gas and you want your transmission hold up, you need to talk to the boys at G-Force.
Yes.
They've got it. They're badasses. But yeah, I mean, I probably should have quit. But one of my downfalls is also one of my strengths. I don't give up.
No, you don't.
I don't give up. And I wasn't going to give up then. And you know, and I appreciate all the time. When I was at the SCG, I had a good time. It's a lot of nice people, you know, and that's all I can say. I mean, you know, the people there was great, the racers and all, and I had a good time. I don't regret none of it. I learned a lot. And
that's what you got into it for, to have a good time.
I did. That's what I got into it for. But I like to race. You know me. That's one of my things. I'm not built to go. I can't go walk.
You're not built to show up.
I'm not. I'm just not.
That's the way to put it.
And it's just like motorcycle racing today. You know, I raced hair scrambling enduros, and that's where I come from, 2 wheels. And then in the 2-wheel thing, I told a good friend of mine that I raced with, it was my partner for years, and we traveled together, raced together. In fact, we just narrowed a rear end for him. I told him that driving this gas was the closest thing to riding a motorcycle that I'd ever experienced, and that's what I liked about it, because you just didn't know what it was going to do, left, right, this, that, here, and the gear change, and that's kind of the way a dirt bike is. You know, you kind of just you there for the ride, so you ain't sure what's going to happen. That's right. And I told him, I said, man, it's one of the funnest things you ever do. And then there's more to it than that, because there's transmissions and they're setting up, and I've always been intrigued by that stuff. You know, the shocks and this and that. And the challenge to this is, and I've always looked at it this way, if all I got to do is get in the car and drive it, it's almost not as fun. No. Does that make any sense? Now, the fact that I got to go out here and tinker on it, and I've got to tune the shocks from track to track a little bit.
Tweak
I may gotta
this, tweak that. That's
try to
right.
find another 10th or here, or a 10th there, or 100 here.
That's right.
That to me was the fun part of it, and it still is. You know, we ain't raced in no series in the last couple, 2 or 3 years, then it ain't been no big deal. You know, number one, I'd be really pissed if I was running a series with the engine problems we've had, because we've had them one after another. But I'm happy to say that I feel the best. I had some health issues a couple years ago, and you know, that's all got about worked out.
Thank God.
And I'm to the point that I'm ready to go race. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready to show up. I'm ready to go
do
race.
Something.
Oh, I am too.
Whether it's testing,
something,
call outs, I don't care.
But
do something.
I called this going back because we got off subject, but I called this guy out, and it's gonna be badass, and it's gonna be best 2 out of 3. Actually, there may be a little money involved. I didn't push
I'm sure
I didn't
there's
push
gonna
them.
be
I
some
didn't
money
push the
involved.
money issue, but we will. We don't, like I said, we ain't even made sure where we're gonna have it at yet. I may let him pick the track, and then we'll do something else on our side. We're gonna make it fun. I just owe him. I mean, I owe him an ass whooping. I mean, on the track, real bad. And they've all wanted a piece of me at my prime. You got to remember something. When I left the SEG, I'm very fortunate. The person that would spank my ass, just bend me over like a kid and just go whap, 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 was Jimmy Finley. And I race with Jimmy some now, and that's another one. And it may be Jimmy. You don't never know who it's going to be.
Never say.
You never say, because Jimmy spanked my ass. I owe him. I owe both these guys that it could be. I owe them big time an ass whooping on the track. I think if I'm at my fighting weight, as they used to say, at my fighting weight, and this thing's putting out the power, and the car's reacting like we want it to this
and we
power.
Got the car tuned.
And the car's tuned. This will be one of the fastest 4-speed gassers at 6 pounds per cubic inch. No weight breaks, no shit. It weighs 6 pounds per cubic inch. In fact, it weighs more than that.
It will still be a legal car.
It's legal. It is 100% legal.
Exactly.
And it'll be badass. You know, that's talking about weight per cubic inch. That's like Jimmy. There's been some other cars here lately that has run in the 40s. There's a car at SEG that run a 41. You know, I still don't know who the fastest is, and I thought of that. So he's got to be holding the fastest record, but he runs away a big block, and they get a kind of a weight break over there. So I'm not sure. I do know this about Jimmy, and this is the reason I'm kind of leaning that Jimmy's run a 48. I was there. I seen it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I know what Jimmy weighs. Jimmy weighs 6.
Above.
Oh God, he's 115 heavy. If you break his cubic inch down with a 434, he weighs at 6 1/4 pounds. He can't get the weight off the car.
Right.
And he's run a 48. So he's 115 heavy, can't get it off. Right?
That's right.
He might be a little bit more than that. But I know he's 115 heavy, can't get it off the car, and he's run a 48. So I'm still torn, but I think this other guy at SEG now, it could be him. I don't know what he weighed. Maybe he's really, really overweight. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Hard to say.
I don't know. I need to talk to him. He's a super nice guy. I may need to call and just ask him what his highest he weighed, because I'm just curious to know what's the number. I do know it's getting a little fast, and it's getting close to. I hope nobody gets much more faster than where we're at in these 40s and stuff, or people's getting down to these 40s. It's fixing to get to funny card cage speeds, and that's just gonna. And that's going to kill it. I mean, when you have to go get aggravating climbing that joker with a funny car cage and all that stuff because you down in the damn 20s, you know, I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure that a 529.999 is funny car cage. Anything under a 530 in the 8th is funny car cage. It's 850. No, I think it's a 29 because in the 8th it's an 850 because we happen to get the car certified, which we're going to get that done here in the next couple of weeks. For drag week. We're going to go ahead and get it certified anyway, because I sent out a thing. A bunch of people wants to get their car certified.
Well, certification's good for a few years,
Yeah. Just to let everybody know, we're going to have a major match race coming up. Stay tuned to Boogie Tech for the details. Y'all going to love it. Like I said, we owe him an ass whooping. It's going to be worth your time to come bring you a case of beer, a cooler of beer, Pepsi Cola, whatever you want, and watch it. It's badass. Man, I appreciate you helping me, get this thing ready for our dynos next week. And, you know, after our oiling problems, you know how that's been.
Man.
But, you know, I appreciate you helping me degree the cam in. And you know what? This would be a good tip of the day, Wayne.
Well,
show them how to degree a cam.
Here's what we're going to do. All right. Now, of course, you've already got the heads on. Normally at work, I'll do this before I got the heads and everything on. That's what this does.
Okay.
This is set up, one end for a Ford, one end for a Chevrolet, goes in the lifter bore, rides the lobe, boom.
Gotcha.
No problem.
Well,
you've got the cylinder heads bolted on, so I've got to have this indicator screwed into the cylinder head coming off the intake push rod. We've already took our top dead center tool, screwed it in the spark plug hole, found top dead center. I don't use the coat hanger with the bolt. I made this thing years ago to run down, just a piece of tungsten through a couple pieces of aluminum. It's adjustable, works with a 1/4, 5/16, 3/8 bolt. So then what we're going to do, we're going to rotate the motor. That's maximum lift right there. And then we're going to come down 50 thousandths. And we're going to take a reading on our degree wheel. And we got 156. And we're going to go back to maximum lift. Come back down again, 50 thousandths. And we got 65. Add the two numbers up, divide it by 2, you come up 110.5. Doing that, you got your intake center line method. We're good to go.
And it should be like 110, 110.5. So
110 to 110. If you're within a 1/2 degree either side, leave it alone.
Okay. Well, I kind of didn't mean to put the heads on, but you know me, I get a little excited.
And that wasn't a problem. I mean, I just wasn't able to get over here in time before you did. So you can do it either way. To me, it's easier without the heads on there.
Yep.
You know, and to do top dead center, I've got a bridge deal with dual indicators that tells me where the piston's at top dead center. And
will you leave us at top dead center for me so when I put my harmonic balancer on, I can do my pointer?
I will do it.
And I'll show everybody about that,
there you go.
Get it on top dead center before you set your pointer on your harmonic balancer.
That's it.
All right, bud.
Because as you and I know, timing, 1 degree of timing will make
some horsepower.
Big difference.
It's a big deal of horsepower.
I never would have believed that.
I mean, when we went up to one time, and I know this is all said, we went up to Bob's that time, and he put 2 degrees in, and it made like 25 horsepower.
Exactly.
Like, people don't know how big a time
we went and made a 5-degree total adjustment through the course of the day and picked up 50-something horsepower.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Well, man, I appreciate it, Dwayne.
No problem.
Thank you, buddy.